Hello and welcome to the Daily News Network and another edition of Business Champions. I'm Brian Sexton, joined as I always am by my co-host on this show, Paul Lajoie. Paul, how are you today?
I am doing great, Brian. Thanks for having me again.
You always are. It's always great to have you on, and we've brought on a special guest from the Lone Star Financial Network. Gaston Garza joins us here on Business Champions. Gaston, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Can't complain. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, just as a lead-off point, give us your background and why you joined the Lone Star Financial Network and your mission in the business and in life.
Sure. Well, it goes back to my calling. My calling in life, believe it or not, is to help other people. I had an episode in my life where I got carjacked in 2003, and that literally changed my life. It humbled me. It brought me to a point in my life where all I can say is I went through 3 years and 3 major surgeries, being shot with a machine gun, not knowing what to do. So those 3 years were the worst years of my life, but somehow they became the best years of my life. I went through 3 years of agony, pain, misery, PTSD. Now here's where everything changed. I was in a hospital bed in a rehab facility in 2005, and I had nowhere else to go. I hit rock bottom. And what I did, I just reached my hands up to the sky and I basically said, God, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't even know where to begin, but whatever you want me to do, I will do. I surrendered there in 2005. And from that moment forward, my life has never been the same. I've shared this story countless times. 90% of the times, God puts people in my path that either need to hear my story or they just might need help. And that's where I go in. So when I was introduced to Lone Star Financial Network, I consider it a dream job because now not only do I help people spiritually, I help people be better stewards of their money and their wealth and their financial planning. And man, I'm just living the dream here.
So of your Gaston, of your clients that you have, I'm assuming you have a bunch of small clients that are small business owners. So what are you doing in that space? What are you seeing in tax structure and tax minimization? And what are you guys doing for clients in that area?
Absolutely. We work with small business owners, and we actually work with companies as well. What we typically do that's different from everyone else is we get, whether it be a business owner or a actual company, what happens is I always ask the same questions. When's the last time you've had your bookkeeper, your CPA, your personal financial planner in one room? 99% of the time, everyone says the same thing. Zero. We do a great bag at quarterbacking, looking for strategies to save companies and business owners on the burden of tax. And there's so many different ways, but a CPA typically gets information, puts it in a box, and then does his thing. But a CPA touches a lot of different clients. We strategize and we take our time, one client at a time, and we've saved a lot of money from a lot of different clients in that space, small business and companies.
Excellent. So I'm going to keep going down that path there. So
sure.
Of those clients that you're bringing on for the first time from a wealth management or just structure or risk assessment, things like that, what do you see in some of the common mistakes that they're making on their own before they come to you?
I would have to say putting a complete trust in one, I would say in one system and not thinking outside the box. There's a variety of different ways and that strategies come into play when absorbing some of that tax burden. A good rule of thumb is a lot of life policies. The same life policies that the banks have been using for generations, for over 200 years, that basically build cash value. Those are the type of recommendations that we make for the personal side and the company side. And there's also, if you have an individual who's actually really doing a great job, you want to consider tying him into a policy that benefits him and benefits the company as well. It's called a key lead guide. And, I would love to go into detail with anyone who would love to touch base with me.
Gaston, the markets have been unstable in recent weeks, to say the least. As we wrap it up, any thought, any tip for people who are watching this, who are wondering what their next step should be?
I would personally say is if I do a lot of business in the whole life area. Whole life is a guaranteed product. So it doesn't matter what the market does. If you're on in your family and your kids are on a policy like this, you don't have to worry about the market. This type of policy has been around since over 200 years. It's seen the Great Depression and has not budged because banks use it themselves. If you're going to take on a policy that's guaranteed, I would start there. And then if you want to mitigate the risk, then you can do that. But right now it's not the moment because of the market being so volatile. And I may be overstepping here, but that's not my expertise. But that's just my personal opinion.
And it's a great piece of advice for people to investigate. Paul, great to see you as always.
Thanks, Brian.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Business Champions. We'll see you next time right here on the Daily News Network.
BizBuyPro supports individuals through the acquisition process in many ways. First and foremost, we can find a business for you. You come to us and you give us the parameters geographically, size, like maybe 2 million in revenue, and maybe an area. You want to be a plumbing contractor, and we'll go find that for you. I think really the most important thing from BizBuyPro is after you find that business, working through the valuation, how much you're paying for it. As I always say, you don't make money when you sell, you make money when you buy.